Hey guys, this is Cabane the Christian. Before I get into the content of this genuinely, and this really is going to be a genuinely brief video because it has a lot to do with kind of housekeeping rather than having a thesis of its own. I do want to talk about the Patreon. So I just want to make clear that I do feel immensely tacky promoting my Patreon. The reason that I am promoting it is because a lot of people have encouraged me for a very long time to invest a certain amount of energy into this channel and into kind of the broader, I don't know what you would call it, the broader religious media ecosystem or whatever. People do, I do get messages where people get something out of it, and that's very fulfilling and important to me. Nevertheless, in order to reliably produce that kind of content and invest that proportion of my life into it, which I have an ambition to do, I love to do, it's very fulfilling, but in order to realistically do that, I do need to have Patreon be kind of a portion of my income so that I can make financial ends meet, and that I'm not some, loser living in mom and dad's basement or whatever. So I will make a video specifically on kind of my life situation right now. I'm not like living on the street or anything. I want to make that clear. I'm not in dire financial straits. So if you're in dire financial straits or anywhere close, please don't contribute. I mean, your prayers are more than enough. And in fact, prayers from anybody is more important than the financial contribution. But if you do enjoy this content and you do want to see more of it, financial contributions on the month-to-month basis would be very much appreciated. And it's not actually, it doesn't only go to me. There's one or two people who are helping me out. You haven't seen the products yet, but they're helping me out in terms of producing higher production quality visual aids and so on and so forth. And so they'll be getting a cut of that as well. So I did want to just say I'm socially aware enough, I think, to where I can feel tacky promoting it, but tacky or not, it is what it is. Anyway, the topic of today's video, if you can call it a topic, is actually more of more putting out feelers to see what sort of content you guys would like to see. I kind of know what genre of content or what family of genres I want to do, but there are a couple specific things that I wanted to ask about. One kind of video which I'm very interested in doing is like a 3.5 minute explanation of a particular point of Orthodox or Christian doctrine or an answer to some kind of objection. Now, obviously, this can be very dangerous. People can get spoiled by these 3.5 minute explanations. Nevertheless, I think that they can be very helpful in that they show the skeptic or the someone who is, just totally pulling their hair out about the complexity of the subject, to show them that there is something to study here. That they're not going to invest a huge amount of time only to find there are no answers after all. So I am interested in producing those kind of 3.5 minute videos, and I would like to have your feedback on what topics, general topics, specific topics, you think I could address. So specific objections to Christianity, specific objections to Orthodoxy from whatever perspective, atheist, Catholic, Muslim, Protestant, I'm happy to take any recommendation that you put out there. I can't promise that I'll actually make a video on the basis of your recommendation, but you're free to recommend whatever you'd like. The other bit I'm looking for is people to interview. So on my Facebook, I got a pretty robust list of potential people to ask for an interview. I'm hoping, I don't want to make a firm commitment at this point, but I'm hoping to do one interview every 1 to 2 weeks. In an ideal world, it would be every week, but I have a feeling it'll be more 1 to 2 weeks. In terms of the people that I'd like to interview, first criterion is it does have to be interesting to me, but you can recommend whomever you want, and I'll figure out if I want to interview them. So you don't have to say, well, is Cabane interested in this? If he isn't, I don't want to recommend it. Recommend whomever you find interesting and plausibly think I might be interested in making a video with. I'd like it to have something to do with the broad content of this channel, but that's a very kind of broad net to cast, because like, for example, if you want to recommend a theoretical physicist who just wrote a brilliant blog post on the relationship of Christianity to physics, I'm happy to talk about that. And it doesn't have to be an academic. I've been told that academics are actually very, very easy, relatively speaking, to what you'd expect, to get to do interviews. They want to promote their own stuff. So that was encouraging. But it doesn't just have to be academics. In my own experience, I have learned incredible amounts from people who work outside of the academy. Most people who have followed me for the last several years, 7 years now, know how much I've gotten out of James B. Jordan. And James B. Jordan does not work in the academic context, but I genuinely believe he is one of the most talented biblical commentators in the history of Christendom. Please don't argue about that in the comments. I'm just saying that I'm willing to talk to anybody, academic or not. If you just have an eccentric friend who just can't shut up about something that you think is pretty interesting, you think he might have something to say, please give me his contact information or her contact information. If they're willing to be interviewed, I'm happy to check it out. What I would like to do is just have lots and lots of content in the pipeline. I don't want to find one day that, I don't know what I'm going to make a video about. So your recommendations are really important to me. And I want to say that, let me think how to frame this. I think that people in general are smarter than they're giving credit for in terms of their kind of potential to digest information. And when I say give them credit for, I mean by themselves and by others. So we have a tendency, I think, among those who want to teach Christian doctrine, to be so afraid of going over anybody's head that we end up going under most people's feet. My view is that if you're not going over anybody's head, then you're probably boring 75% of the people to tears. Not only so, but going over somebody's head slightly actually can be a beneficial experience, because the intellectual muscles, they grow when they have to reach to actually grasp what you're saying and digest what you're saying. And I say that basically to say I think my audience is a very capable, I don't mean this to sound patronizing at all, but my audience is very capable group of people, and I genuinely enjoy engaging with you guys. I genuinely do take your comments into account. I genuinely do value your recommendations. So this whole saga for me, I've been on YouTube since 2007, and I just could not imagine how profoundly different my life would have turned out if I had never gotten on YouTube. I mean, it has had such an instrumental role in the direction of, not only my professional life, but my personal life, the friends that I've made and know in real life now. So I value you guys, and I value you guys' input. So I would love to have some of that input. So again, what I'm asking for specifically is, number one, ideas for like 3.5 minute videos explaining a particular point of doctrine, answering a particular objection, or something else which would fit into that kind of schematic. And then people to interview who, are roughly in the constellation of theology, philosophy, whatever. But, if you have other recommendations, whether they be a video idea, practical stuff, I am all ears. So thank you for listening. I started to make a video on the Cosmic Trilogy, but as I was making it, I just didn't get that it sense that makes for something worth listening to. So this is one of the benefits of having a per month contribution model on Patreon, is that I don't feel like I'm scamming people if I make a video that I'm not exactly happy with and then put it up and like hit charge patrons, because you're contributing for the month-to-month content. So thank you everybody who has contributed. Thank you, everybody who's watching. You guys are genuinely important to me. And do pray for me. And that's not a throwaway line. I believe prayer works, and I genuinely believe that the prayers of my internet community, or whatever you want to call it, not to undervalue at all like a real parish community, which is so important, but I genuinely believe that there are circumstances in which the prayers of my internet community have saved my soul. So please do pray for me. If you don't know, my name is Seraphim liturgically, so have me commemorated in the Divine Liturgy. Pray for me. I don't care if you're Orthodox, Catholic, or Protestant, or whatever. Keep me in your prayers. Thank you so much for listening, and I would love to hear your feedback.